And they simply pushed that through.
Well,
and, see, this fellow has not changed his stripes or his spots or anything. He's the same heretic that he was then, all the way through.
Well, see, and this is the thing. I had the opportunity to have a very pleasant private phone conversation with you yesterday in preparation of today's interview. And one of the things I told you was that as a younger man, I had always hoped that if we lost all of the other institutions, that we would still have a stronghold or a last bastion, a fortress with the church. But it seems as though the church has been infiltrated in the same way that the media has been infiltrated, that the government has been infiltrated, that academia has been infiltrated. What can we do as Christians and as constitutional conservatives in order to regain our institutions, Mr. Gibson?
Well, we look at what they've done and show that they are in contravention of all our former doctrines. That synthesis of all heresies, that's not my phrase. Pius X called modernism that. And Pius IX had put out a long series of condemned propositions of the modernists. And so had Leo XIII. And his was 40 condemned propositions taken from the writings of a gentleman named Rosmini Serbate. And believe it or not, the new church has canonized this man. With 40 condemned heresies under his belt, this new church comes out and canonizes him.
Well, see, I mean, and that therein lies, a symptom of the problem. It's, of course, a greater disease than that. This is just one of the manifestations of it. But again, I mean, what can we do? What can people like yourself do? I mean, obviously, you've written books about it. You're speaking out of it in interviews. But there are a lot of people listening tonight who want to become active. They want to become part of a solution. What would you advise them to do in order to do some good and reclaiming our institutions? What would you say to the listener tonight who wants some marching orders?
Boycott.
Boycott what?
The whole doggone official Catholic Church. It's all up in the air, and it's not going to come down in a normal spot. You can bet your boots.
So basically, withhold support, financial support or otherwise, from these institutions that have apparently gone to war with itself, or at least with the people who support it. The average parishioner who is in support of the Catholic Church, the Catholic Church is at war with him and really the faith that he holds. Right.
It's a completely different group, and it has all the control. It will not listen to anybody. When this stuff started, 100,000 priests quit.
Exactly.
They weren't all chasing women. They said, this is not what I signed on for, goodbye.
Well, all right. Well, we got to take a break right there. A lot of questions, and I appreciate your candor thus far. We're going to regroup here. We've still got a couple of more segments tonight with Hutton Gibson. It is our esteemed honor to have him as our guest this evening. We encourage you to check out his website, HuttonGibson.com. Ladies and gentlemen, this man has come on this program, made himself available to you. We want you to support his good work. Check out HuttonGibson.com. You can get some autographed books there. Bill Rowland and I will be back to continue this interview with Mr. Hutton Gibson right after these words from our sponsors. Stay tuned, everybody.
Don't go away. The Political Cesspool guys will be back right after these messages. Get on the show and express your opinion in the Political Cesspool, call us toll free at 1-866-986-6397.
Welcome back to the program, everyone. Saturday evening, January 9th. We are live, red hot and rolling, unrehearsed and uncensored as always here on the Liberty News Radio Network. You're tuned into the Political Cesspool radio program. I'm your host, James Edwards, co-hosting with me for the remainder of the broadcast. Bill Rowland, our very special guest, Hutton Gibson, and we have been talking to Mr. Gibson again about the manifestation of heresy in the Catholic Church, as well as the overall secularization of the Christian faith in general. And along those lines, I'll turn it back over to my colleague, Bill.
Mr. Gibson, the Apostle St. Paul wrote that we battle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. And this leads me to the question of the Antichrist inside of the Catholic Church. What is the spirit of Antichrist in the Church today, in the Christian faith, and who are the responsible parties? Who are the Antichrists that we face, even if they be of flesh and blood?
Well, the people who have taken over the Church, and it's been taken over like every legitimate government in the world from the top. It's the same plot. Why would they vary the method? And it seems to work.
Yeah, that's something that we've always said, Bill, and I'll turn it back over to you. It seems as though Christians, Gentiles, members of the West, European Americans, paleo-conservatives, we seem to be defeated at every turn, at least over the last century, to be sure. And one thing that we have said is that we must begin studying and mimicking the tactics of the left, of the people who have been successful in taking over our institutions and taking over the church. They have been incredibly successful and victorious, and we would do well to learn from them and begin implementing pages from their playbook. But, Bill, I digress. Back to you.
In any event, there must be a spirit in the church that is a negative spirit, a dark spirit. And what do you think is in the soul of these priests, these cardinals, these antichrists? What is it that is in their soul that has turned them so far away from Christ and so deeply into the heresies and the apostasies which they practice?
Well, they were bent that way, and they are organized. You know, if the communists take over a labor union, they're there, they do all the work. Everybody listens to them because they're there, they're doing everything. And eventually people seem to think, well, they are competent, let's let them run. But see, we have never figured on anything like that. We never figured on, though it's in the New Testament that there will be an apostasy. It says before the end, which of course isn't necessary because it can't happen after the end. And it's pretty well described in St. Paul's second epistle to the Thessalonians, chapter 2. And his